Yeah. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there today, where we have our very first ever weekend tailgate episode. That's right, a new show here for 2021 fantasy football. So when you think about a tailgate, what do you think about? Food, cold drinks, hanging out with friends and family, and just having a good time laughing, talking about all different kinds of things. Well, that's what this show here is all about. And we're going to come to you with some different segments that you haven't really seen on this show in the past. What all are we going to be talking about? Well, we'll recap some of the content from earlier in the week. We'll talk some weather updates, maybe a tailgate recipe. How about a recipe here with our own chef, John Pickard, helping you come up with some new ideas on a week-to-week basis. Maybe you want to set some DFS lineups. We got Justin Freeman from Run the Sims here to help you set some lineups and give you some good plays of the week. Maybe you don't want to build a lineup. Maybe you just want to look at point spreads and bet on the entire games. That's cool too. We will have that as well. But here's the best part about it. We don't expect everybody to want to see all of these segments. So there's timestamps down below in the description so you can choose which segments you really want to see on a week-by-week basis. But we're going to have a lot of fun with it. But I can't go any longer without telling you guys about this crazy. At this point, it's just crazy deal through PrizePicks. But we've been talking about PrizePicks all week long, right? We've even put a few picks into our start-sit videos here this week, which we've already hit. Tom Brady, we picked the over, he got it. What about CeeDee Lamb? Picked the over there, got that as well. But now they're stepping their game up. Things are getting absolutely crazy. Do you like free money? Because this is what you need to do to get some. First, you need to head over to prizepicks.com or download the app. Create a new account and use the promo code HEADLINERS as a referral code when creating that new account. That will automatically match your deposit up to $100. Plus, you'll be entered into our giveaway where we're giving away an autographed Justin Jefferson jersey, a MANSCAPED Perfect Package 4.0, and a Trevor Lawrence rookie card, but it gets even better. And this is where it gets crazy, and this is why you gotta sign up now. PrizePicks is putting out a prop bet for Patrick Mahomes with an over-under set at 0.5 passing yards. So that means if Patrick Mahomes goes out there and throws for at least 1 yard this week, you win that pick. It's almost free money at this point. Head over to prizepicks.com, set up that new account, make that initial deposit, and use the promo code HEADLINERS to get in on this awesome deal here right now. What else can we talk about? How about a recap of our MANSCAPED matchups of the week from this week? For the quarterback position, Ryan Tannehill, Kyler Murray, Tennessee versus Arizona. Ryan Tannehill gets Julio Jones now against a weak Arizona secondary. Could be some fireworks there with him paired with A.J. Brown. Then on the other side, Kyler Murray, who we know can put up monstrous numbers. Plus, he's added the likes of Rondale Moore and A.J. Green this offseason. Could be a back and forth. Looking forward to that matchup. What about running backs? Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara. Two of the best in fantasy football. Kamara could put up stupid numbers, right? No Michael Thomas, no Latavius Murray in the backfield. We've seen those type of gains before. What about Aaron Jones? Well, him and Aaron Rodgers start their discount double suck it tour this week, and I'm not going to be surprised if he puts up some big numbers as well. For the wide receivers, I'm really interested to see Carolina versus the Jets, right? I know it doesn't sound sexy, but with Carolina, how do they utilize all three of those guys with Sam Darnold this year? DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall Jr. Does he see a huge role in the start of the season? What about Robbie Anderson? Plus, on the Jets side of things, a lot of people I feel are discounting Zach Wilson and his ability in this offense. It's just not sexy on paper, but I'm not going to be surprised if that team of Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, they can put up some solid numbers. I want to see that. Looking forward to that. As for the tight ends, San Francisco and Detroit. Kittle, Hawkinson, two top 5 tight ends going at it. You know both teams are going to be throwing. You know Kittle's heavily involved when Jimmy G is under center. A couple matchups that we're really looking forward to for these positions here this week. But now I think it's time that we take a look at the weather, right? Weather plays a role in fantasy football. You don't want to be out there starting players in gale force winds or torrential downpours. Do we have any to worry about this week? Let's go ahead and take a look. And there's really only one matchup that I'm paying attention to as far as weather goes. Some great weather all across the country for the games here this weekend. But the Pittsburgh Steelers and Buffalo Bills. As of right now, about a 20% chance of rain. Not too crazy. Winds out of the southwest, right around 13 miles an hour. Neither one of those numbers are enough to scare me off of players in this matchup. But don't forget, rain impacts players, right? We know it impacts the passing game. It makes it hard to throw the ball deeper down the field, more likelihood for fumbles or tip passes that cause interceptions. Just pay attention to these types of things as you're entering your games, right? You want to make sure nothing changes. Weather can change in the snap of a finger. We want to make sure you're as up to date as we can get, but things can always change. It's just another facet that you need to pay attention to when you're setting your lineup. I'm just glad we don't have a whole lot to cover in the weather segment, though, because to be honest, I'm sitting here and I don't want to talk about weather as much as I'm hungry. I want some food. I think it's time that we throw it over to Chef John Pickard, the Tailgate Chef, and see what he's cooking up for us here this week.
Hey everybody, it's John here with the Fantasy Headliners Tailgate Pick of the Week. Today we're going to be doing a fried bologna, grilled onion, pimento cheese grilled sandwich. We'll put this thing on the Blackstone over here and show you how it's done. Y'all come on and check it out. Alright, let's get started on this fried bologna, pimento cheese with the grilled onion sandwich. First we'll put a little oil over here. Got a few onions here. Get them started cooking down. While those onions are cooking down, got some thick cut bologna. I got this at the deli. I like thick bologna. Thick meat is good meat. Got some Texas toast here. I'm gonna go ahead and brown it on one side for our grilled cheese, just because I like that little extra crunch. All right, everything's getting close to done here. I've already toasted one side of this bread. Put a little butter on it for the other side. I'll drop it right there. A shot of mustard. A little pimento cheese. Put this piece of bologna on there. A few of these onions. A little butter on the other side here. Give this thing a few minutes sitting there. All right, now that we got it all good and toasted, let's plate this thing up. Take a look at it. Let's cut into this thing and see what we got. Oh yeah. You might want to borrow your buddy's game day jersey for this one, because it's gonna make a mess. Hope you enjoy.
Love talking about food on game day, and we're going to be doing this every single week, giving you something new to try with you, your family, and your friends. But maybe you're the type that wants to gamble a little bit. Maybe you want to do some daily fantasy, some DraftKings. Well, okay, we got you covered. Let's bring in Justin Freeman of Run the Sims so he can help you build some lineups, give you some good plays here for Week 1 fantasy football.
What's up, headliners? Justin Freeman here from runthesims.com, and today we are going to be talking once again about DFS, but this time we actually have a slate to look at. It's Week 1, folks, and we've got the DraftKings main slate here right in front of us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Week 1 is such a unique week in DFS because you think back on it, like the DraftKings prices have been out for over a month now. So for over a month, we've had these stale prices just sitting out there. But of course, the NFL is not sitting still for anyone. We've had gobs of injuries, different sort of depth chart climbs among different players. The news is different. We've got a lot of things to adjust to. So those old prices present some really fine opportunities for us to pick off some of the lines that look really good for us here this week. So the problem with week one, on the other hand, however, is while there are some inefficient prices out there, we also have to remember that other people are going to know that as well and will be more likely to play those types of players in their lineup. So without further ado, why don't we hop into some of those? We'll go position by position and talk about some of those players who look like strong values here in week one. Let's pull up the Run the Sims optimizer. Again, runthesims.com/headliners to get you a discount code, 10% off right this second over on runthesims.com. We're looking at the optimal quarterbacks here. So one of the handy dandy columns we have right here is optimal rate. What we do is we run this slate 10,000 times. That's every play of every game 10,000 times to see which quarterbacks and really all positions pop up as the winning option and how often that happens. This is the best possible lineup that you could construct. And so we have Patrick Mahomes, pretty much no surprise there, leading the way as the number one quarterback option for the week. He's priced at 8,100. Now, ordinarily, we could be of two different minds about whether it's right or wrong to spend that type of money on the quarterback position. A lot of times you're better off spending money, at some of the more premium positions like running back and receiver. But let me tell you why that's okay to do this here in week one. We know we're going to be able to recap salary elsewhere in our lineups. So there's nothing wrong with going ahead and running with a Patrick Mahomes-led lineup. Matter of fact, you could build around that Chiefs passing offense. Of course, we know that they're the best offense in football. At least that's what we expect right here. And as you can see up here in the corner, the total for this game sitting at 54.5. The Chiefs are 5.5 point favorites. So it's a really good situation for Patrick Mahomes. They should light the scoreboard up in this game. 8,100. You don't need me to sell you anymore on Patrick Mahomes. Next up, Kyler Murray at 7,600. They take on the Titans here in week two. Obviously, Kyler Murray setting up for sort of a trajectory year for him in order to be able to take the next step as a passer in this offense. Gets another year with DeAndre Hopkins. You remember he got Hopkins late last year, so the ability to have a full offseason working with DeAndre Hopkins. And then we don't know exactly what that backfield is going to look like there in Arizona as well. I think they're going to lean there on the passing game here against the Titans. Number 3, Josh Allen. We know the upside is there with Josh Allen. It makes a lot of sense. He's taking on that tough Pittsburgh defense. That would sort of make me think about looking a different way, but Allen's getting his points in such a variety of ways, it may not actually matter. Number 4, Ryan Tannehill, $6,500 going up against the Cardinals. So you basically have two sides of the same game, the Arizona-Tennessee game, two quarterbacks ranked in the top 4 there. Ryan Tannehill, $6,500. It's sort of a slept-on guy, a late career breakout type of player. Now inherits an additional weapon in Julio Jones in this offense. Has the opportunity. Obviously, if things go a certain way and Derrick Henry is not the guy scoring all the points, Tannehill is going through the passing game, that's obviously going to be a big benefactor for him. And then a surprising name here in 5th, $5,000 Sam Darnold. Now, people have sort of fallen asleep on the Panthers, but they have one of the best receiving groups in the NFL when you look at Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall, and Christian McCaffrey. That's a pretty good murderer's row of options there for Sam Darnold. It'd certainly be the best offense he's been a part of since he's joined the NFL. And the intriguing thing here, we talked about sort of inefficient pricing. $5,000 is definitely inefficient there for Sam Darnold. It gives you a good reason to hop in there and play him. Let's look at the running back position next, where if we're looking at our optimal plays, we're going to see some pretty expensive guys. Now, I do want to, sort of obviously raise a red flag here around Austin Eckler. News broke today that he sit out a second day this week with a hamstring pull. Want to certainly keep a tight eye on that. Maybe enough reason to think about fading him altogether with so many other good options on the board. But Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Eckler there, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry sort of rounding out that option. So a lot of the premier options, once again, sort of popping to the top because obviously in this week one situation, you're going to be able to fit in some of those high-priced guys. Let's look at the receivers. We should once again see some familiar names there, but we'll kind of start seeing some of the value guys starting to pop up there. Of course, it's Adams and Diggs, but Terry McLaurin is a guy who, now that we are projecting Curtis Samuel to likely miss based on his recent practice report activity, Terry McLaurin, $6,400, becomes super interesting. He and Logan Thomas should have a stranglehold of targets in that offense. Like Terry McLaurin, to take another leap, this will be the best quarterback that he's played with here in Washington with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Michael Pittman is a salary savings darling. Without any T.Y. Hilton in the lineup, somebody has to take on the load there for the Colts offense. It could be Michael Pittman at $4,100. There's a good reason to consider playing him. And then in that Titans offense, we mentioned Tannehill, but what about A.J. Brown? A perfect person to pair Tannehill with. That's a lot of alliteration there. Perfect person to pair Tannehill with is A.J. Brown. And then lastly, Marvin Jones, $3,600, gets a great matchup against the Texans, and just a tremendous inefficiency and pricing there for Marvin Jones. If I scan down just a smidge further, you also see Corey Davis, a guy who stands to benefit if Jameson Crowder cannot suit up Sunday due to his COVID situation. Next, let's look at tight end real quick. Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, Anthony Ferkser, and Tyler Kroft. I would exercise a little bit of caution there with Ferkser, but he does give you a good cheap second option to pair with Tannehill if you wanted to stack up that Cardinals game. But Tyler Kroft, $2,500, looks like he is going to be the locked and loaded number one tight end there for the Jets. He obviously allows you at min price for tight end to be able to fit in other options that cost a bit more. We talked about how some of those good-looking running backs are obviously expensive this week. Gives you a good reason to go there. And defenses. I never like to spend a ton of time on defenses, guys. Just want to sort of go rapid fire through this. You want to have a defense that's going up against a quarterback who's turnover prone and gets a lot of dropbacks. That's really the key. You want to create pressure. You want a good offensive-defensive line matchup. And that could be it for the Chargers. Chargers could get plenty of opportunities to take advantage of YOLO Ryan Fitzpatrick, $3,100. I tend to like to spend a little bit less there at the defense position. Good place to save and spend your money at more predictable positions. So that's kind of our rapid fire look at some of the best plays of the week here in DFS on the DraftKings main slate. If you're interested in getting more information, go on over to runthesims.com. Use promo code Headliners for a discount there at checkout. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Good luck this week. We'll talk to you again next week. See you guys.
Perfect. But maybe you're the type that doesn't really want to do DraftKings. You don't want to make lineups. You just want to bet on the games, right? You want to look at the point spreads. You want to make some bets. You want to have some added vested interest into the games this weekend. No problem. We got you covered. Our own Chris Chouse is in the house talking point spreads on a weekly basis, and we're kicking off right here in week one.
What is up, Headliner Nation? Chris Chow's in the house, baby, for Point Spread Picks, NFL style. I love it. The season is back, baby. I am excited. Hope you guys are as well. This is my 5th year calling picks for the NFL. My record is decent, man. It's been enough to get money in my pocket. Over 50% in Point Spread Picks is always a positive, and I hover around that mark. My 2020 season record was 140 and 129, and my all-time record 544 to 527. So 508 is my winning record, and I mean that is beating Vegas odds all day long, and you can stack your bank accounts. Just for reference, all my Thursday night football picks will be on the community tab or social media if you want to get those in, and we'll drop these obviously for Friday, the rest of the games on the Sunday and Monday slate. So let's dive in, man. We got a slew of games to discuss, man. First is on Sunday, Philadelphia and Atlanta. The Falcons favored by 3 points, man. Atlanta has a new head coach, new system, okay? Let's just start all this right away so you guys understand. No Julio Jones, drafted Kyle Pitts. Philadelphia has a new head coach. Philly's defense still looks good up front. I'm okay with it, man. There are not a lot of holes. Everybody in Philadelphia's offense right now is healthy. Running backs and wide receivers, massive positive for Jalen Hurts. I'm super excited. I think it's going to be very good. I'm going with Philly +3 in this regard. I think that, it's going to be a very close game. They could lose. I think it could be a 1-2 point game, but I'm going with Philly. Next one I got is Buffalo, -6.5 on the spread. The Bills, man, they're ready to go. My Buffalo Bills, you see it in the back. But I mean, Super Bowl contender, legit Super Bowl contender coming from the AFC. Pittsburgh does have some weapons, but they got O-line issues and concerns. This is going to be a big problem. They lost a lot of O-line depth, so I mean, the Bills look much better on the defensive line. Drafting Gregory Rousseau, Basham and company. Epinesa, he's ready to take a huge leap on that defensive line. I think the Bills are going to rectify all their issues they had at rushing the passer, at stopping the run, and I think it's going to be very well. The TJ Watt drama has come to a conclusion. He has signed his massive deal, so he will play. And I mean, still, even though it's in Buffalo, I'm taking the Bills at minus 6.5. I think they are a very sure bet. I mean, it might be a little bit less, but I like the Bills at minus 6.5. Next one is New York Jets at Carolina Panthers. The Panthers favored at 4 points. Sam Darnold versus old team. Rival games. You got to love the rivals, man. Back to back. I love it, man. Darnold is, this is the best offense Darnold has ever played in. We know this. And I mean, I love Joe Brady and Matt Rule. You guys know my work. I love these two gentlemen. I think that they, their schemes and their schematics are so good, and they're going to get this offense humming. CMC is back. New York Jets also have a lot of toys, man. I mean, I love me some Zach Wilson and Elijah Moore. I think they're going to do a lot of damage in this league, but week one, it's a little tough, right? We don't know the identity of a lot of these teams, man. So for me, Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, they should be able to put up some points. This Jets offense in general, but I mean, travel for the Jets with a weaker secondary and Sam Darnold on the revenge game, I'm going with the Panthers, man. I think that they're actually going to showcase a lot of talent, and they're gonna prove a lot of people wrong, man. I'm on the train, Sam Darnold train, 100%, baby. Minnesota and Cincinnati, the Vikings are favored by 3 points. I mean, Minnesota did improve their secondary, Patrick Peterson and company. This was massive. Their defense was, I don't want to say god awful last year, but it wasn't very great. I mean, they still got Dalvin Cook. JJ looks like he's back from his AC joint. I mean, this is something to watch, though. I mean, he's going to have struggles with it all year long. Could linger. Minnesota will run a lot versus Cincinnati. Weaker run defense. Joe Burrow, his first game back from the ACL, definitely something to watch. It is a concern. Jamar Chase has been underwhelming so far. He was actually quoted in saying that he struggles to see the NFL ball because it doesn't have the stripe on it. I mean, that's a concern. But I mean, he's going to be just fine. It might just take him a little while longer. They need to set up the run to open up the play action pass Cincinnati does for them to compete in this one. But I think Dalvin Cook and company are going to be far too much. Even on the road, I'm taking Minnesota minus 3. Next one is San Francisco minus 7.5 at Detroit. If we're talking about an upset this week, this could be it. I won't be shocked. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I won't be shocked if San Francisco has a letdown because there is no tape on Detroit at this point. I mean, we don't know what they're going to do. Yes, it's Jared Goff, but I mean, we have no idea the identity of these Detroit Lions. San Francisco is strong on both sides of the ball in the trenches. O-line, D-line, they are absolutely phenomenal. This is going to be a problem. So even if they stumble, I'm going to the point of saying that they're going to be fine throughout the rest of the game. Even if Detroit keeps it close early on, I think Frisco is going to be just fine. All the wide receivers are healthy in San Francisco. This gives Jimmy Garoppolo a lot of positives. I like that a lot. This spread could get killed late. I mean, this is one of these games, man, that it could get killed late. So, I mean, I don't fault you if you don't take my advice on this one, but I'm still rolling with the 49ers on the road. West Coast to East, somewhat East travel. I mean, it's never favorable, but I'm rolling with the Niners. 7.5 points, go with the Niners. Jacksonville minus 3 at Houston. I mean, this is a crap shoot of games if we're ever seeing one. Both clubs, no real identity as of yet. I mean, it is week 1. This is the hardest week to pick for all NFL teams, all NFL games, but I mean, this game is extremely difficult. Trevor Lawrence looked good in the preseason. I think this offense is going to move very well. James Robinson and company, he's going to be carrying the load. Houston's going to run a lot, and I think this is going to be their MO this entire season. With all the running backs they have, Tyrod Taylor is starting quarterback. They're going to run a lot. Tyrod can throw that deep ball, though. Watch out for that. He is very good. I know Tyrod very well. I know his game very well from Buffalo. He throws a deep ball better than a lot of people do believe. There should be a limited defense on both sides. I think it's going to be maybe a decent scoring fest, but I mean, I don't like the 3 points either way. I really don't. This could be a 1-2 point game as well. I'm going Houston plus 3, depending on, it doesn't even matter who wins. I'm going Houston plus 3. Seattle minus 3 at Indianapolis. This one was a very difficult one to evaluate for me. One of the tougher games on the slate. I mean, Seattle with the travel, Wentz coming off that foot surgery. Indy's defense is going to be a baller again. We know this, man. All the transactions they had. I mean, Xavier Rhodes might be out this week, so keep your eye on that. That might change things, and DK Metcalf might run free, but I mean, definitely watch out on that injury report before you place your bets. But I mean, when Indy, will they move the ball consistently through the air with Carson Wentz? We'll see. We don't know. Is he healthy enough to come off that foot injury? We don't know. We will see. But I'm going to gamble here. I think it's Russ Wilson. I can't go against him, even though they always start out pretty quick, right? So, I mean, I'm going to go with them. It's going to be a good running game. Chris Carson, heavy passes, deep passes to Metcalf and Lockett. So I'm going with Seattle minus 3. Arizona at Tennessee, minus 3 for Tennessee. All these spreads. You see, even even Vegas has you confused because they don't know the identities of the teams. But I mean, Zona, to me, they got a lot of new toys on this offense. Rondale Moore, AJ Green, I love it, man. I'm a huge Cliff Kingsbury guy. You guys know this. Offensive genius mastermind in the making. He is, the only problem is he wasn't as creative. He needs to create more emotions and create more opportunities, and I think they will because they showed the way to manufacture ways to get Rondale the ball. I think it's going to be fantastic. Tennessee, obviously, the trio of ballers, Henry, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones, they're going to wreck this defensive secondary in Arizona because they're slim pickings as it is, right? Defense will improve in Tennessee with Bud Dupree, and I mean, like I said, the secondary could get exposed in Arizona, so I mean, I'm taking Tennessee at home -3. LA Chargers and Washington football team. This is an even pick'em spread. New head coach for LA, new system, new scheme. Eckler is hurting as of late. He's on the injury report. He should be playing, though. LA's defense will be stronger because head coach Staley is a defensive prodigy, and I think they're going to do very well. Washington with Ryan Fitzmagic, baby. They will move this ball. Terry's going to get Chris Harris this week, so I mean, that's going to be something to watch as well. See if he can get open. See if he can make plays. Vegas has a hard time with this contest, too. I'm telling you, that's why they made it a pick'em game overall, even though it's in Washington, and Washington's defense is stellar. I think I'm gonna roll with the Los Angeles Chargers to win in this contest. Huge game, man. Cleveland at Kansas City, the rematch of the playoffs. KC -6. Huge game for week 1. Cleveland has improved their defense a lot and will be a force. I mean, Garrett and Clowney, are you kidding me? These guys, oh mama, it's going to be something special. Cleveland has improved their defense overall. It's awesome. KC is still the cream of the crop in the AFC. We know this. KC improved their offensive line. I mean, who's going to be the wide receiver two for Kansas City? This is kind of my question mark right now. Is it going to be Hardman? Is it going to be Pringle? Who's it going to be? Who's going to take it? Are they going to run more effectively with Clyde Edwards-Helaire? We will see. I mean, KC should definitely win this game, but I love the potential in Nick Chubb and this offense in Cleveland to run the clock, control the clock. As long as Cleveland doesn't turn the ball over in this game, I could really see Cleveland make this a contest. And I think it's even if Kansas City wins, which I think they will, I'm going with Cleveland at +6 for the money. Go get that money. Miami at New England -3. Again, this is the common theme throughout this entire point spread pick'ems. Miami and Tua have looked a lot better, I'm telling you. New weapons to stretch the field in Fuller and Waddle. Fuller will not play this week. We know that, but Jalen Waddle is one of these guys that I truly love. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. Defensive secondary is still very strong in Miami, while New England is rolling with Mac Money Jones. You guys know I'm a big Mac Money guy. I think that he is going to do very well. However, I mean, there's going to be a heavy emphasis in New England to run the ball and feed the tight ends. This is going to be their MO this season. And I mean, without a true number one wide receiver, you got to find ways to manufacture points and move the ball. And I think Mac is going to do very good. This game should go back and forth, could be very close. I mean, even Miami could see this win come out. I'm going with Miami. I'm going with the fish this week, +3. And this one's a little tougher. I mean, so I don't hate you if you don't take my advice on that one as well. Green Bay -4 at New Orleans. This game should be played in Jacksonville due to the hurricane. Aaron Rodgers is going to have that chip on his shoulder all season long because of that offseason drama. Green Bay still is loaded with secondary offensive help, Cobb and Amari Rodgers. And New Orleans without Drew Brees, I mean, we don't know their identity as of yet. I mean, no true number one wide receiver with Thomas out. Yes, Callaway looked good, but I mean, is he going to look good against number one top coverage? We'll see. Kamara's going to be leaned upon massively. I mean, this one shouldn't be as close as a lot of people think. I'm going Green Bay -4, and I'm laughing all the way to the bank. Denver -3 at New York Giants. The Big Blue. Denver begins the Teddy Two Gloves regime. I mean, we'll see how it goes. This offense could be a little bit mundane at times. It's going to be heavily utilized on the ground, running with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Their defense in Denver is still fairly good and solid. I don't dislike them. The Giants should get Saquon back. So this is the caveat in this whole thing. If Saquon is suiting up, I'm going with the Giants all day long. It's going to be up to Danny Pennies. I mean, Danny Pennies, he's got to be Danny Dimes in this one because he's got to make no mistakes, hit all his weapons. They have a plethora of talent on this offensive side. So if Saquon suits up for me, I'm going Giants +3. I think that they will be able to handle the Denver Broncos with Teddy Two Gloves. Next one is Chicago at LA Rams, -7.5 for the Rams. Andy Dalton gets a start, but do we see Justin Fields make an appearance if he struggles? I wouldn't be surprised, I should say. The Bears, you know, they have a good defense, but their secondary is softer, and I'm not overly convinced. Mack and company, Raekwon, they will rush the passer. They will get after Matthew Stafford, but LA is ready to roll, man. This is they traded all those picks for Matthew Stafford, not to just, be mediocre. They want to go for the Super Bowl, and this is what it's going to be. The Rams, man, how's the run game going to look? It's kind of undetermined right now. Are they going to be successful? Are they not? But I have all the faith in Matthew Stafford. I think he is one of the quietest elite quarterbacks in the entire NFL, and I'm taking LA Rams at home -7.5. I think it's a good bet. It might get killed late. This is one of the things you got to watch out for because the spreads usually get killed late in garbage time. This one may do that as well. So, take it for interpretation on your end. Monday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens versus the Las Vegas Raiders, man. -4.5 for Baltimore. We got some awful news. Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters both tear their ACLs in practice today. They are done for the season. Lamar Jackson is going to have to put this team on his back, man. Literally, Sammy Watkins is the best player in week 1, basically in NFL history, man. This guy just balls out in week 1. We don't even have an explanation for it. It just happens and then he disappears. He could be that guy. The Ravens defense is still very tough, even without Peters. It's a loss. It's a big loss, but they're going to be still very tough to beat. Yes, they are at home, the Vegas Raiders. But they're still kind of like that enigma. I don't know what they are. I don't think a lot of people know what they are. Are they going to go deep? Can Derek Carr go deep? We don't know. Are they going to utilize the run? We don't know. But this is what it is. Turnovers are key in this game, and Baltimore should win this game. But I think the Raiders, are going to make this one a very difficult contest. I'm going Las Vegas Raiders +4.5. So there you have it, man. That is week 1 point spread picks in the books. Go get that money. Go stack that bank account. I wish you the best of luck this week, and catch us next week, man, for point spread picks. See you later.
Awesome. So many different things to be talking about here on a Friday to really pique the interest of everybody in the fantasy football world. It doesn't really matter what level you are or what your main interests are. We're going to have something to cover you here in the weekend tailgate. But maybe there's more that you would like to see. You have some ideas. You have some questions. Leave them down below in the comment section. We want to make sure that this is interactive, right? Nobody sits at the tailgate by themselves. We're trying to sit here with our friends, with our family, you, the viewer, and come up with the best possible things to talk about on a weekly basis. But I love the base foundation that we've started here with this week, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Do me a favor, if you did, hit the like button. The like button greatly helps us out here on YouTube through the algorithm and helps push more viewers our way. I really appreciate the support. Been a great week 1. Really looking forward to our Saturday night live stream, 9 p.m. Eastern. Myself and Kyle will be on there talking fantasy football for an hour or 2 hours or whatever the nation needs to make sure that those lineups are set. Looking forward to it, though. So hopefully you have a great rest of your day, a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
I'm a headliner.